And the gap between National and their Labour Green opposition is closing. The latest News Hub Reid Research poll shows National on 45.1%. That's a drop of 1.9%. And Labour and the Greens have taken almost all of that, jumping up to 44.2%. On those numbers, neither side could govern without support from Winston Peters and New Zealand First. With us now, Andrew Little, the Labour Party leader. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you buoyed by these numbers?
It's encouraging that they're going in the right direction, but I don't underestimate that we've still got plenty of work to do, but I'm very pleased with the direction that we're taking.
Do you think this is a one-off?
No, this is consistent with polling that we're doing. It's also consistent with the feedback that I'm getting, just anecdotally, as I've got around the last few weeks. There is a mood change, and the things that people are talking to me about, the people who are coming up to me wherever I am in the street, and meetings and what have you, it is different to what it was even a year ago. So
this is the start, you think, of the polls turning in your favour?
Well, I think from Labour's point of view, I mean, we've stuck to a strategy we set for the beginning of the year to stick with our priority issues, to go hard on them. We have been. We've been getting good traction on issues like housing, on health and education. People are hearing that. They're hearing our message. They're seeing what we're saying. And I think we're starting to see, people taking more of an interest in us than they were, a while ago.
Housing has certainly been an issue that's been on the cards for months, if not years now. So why is it that now you're seeing this shift?
I think people have looked around and seen what's been happening. I guess, so the most correspondence I get on the housing issue tends to be from people with adult children or grandchildren who are concerned that generation will never be able to buy their own home, buy their first home. And that's really stuck with a lot of people. I think equally when people saw images of families living in garages and cars, knowing that at least, that one of the parents in those families is a working parent, I think that's really shaken a lot of New Zealanders. And they see that the government is doing absolutely nothing practical or meaningful about housing, and they don't trust the government to deal with housing now, and they're looking for alternatives.
Is this about National losing support rather than Labour and the Greens winning it as such? Because much of your policy platform around this has been the same for some time.
Yeah, we made some changes to deal with, I think, the current crisis and the magnitude of it. But I think people now see the issue and are concerned enough about it. They see that the government is just simply failing on the issue, and they don't trust the government on it. So they are looking for alternatives, and more people are showing a great interest in us.
Because if it's this big a problem, wouldn't you think there would be a bigger shift, a bigger change in the poll numbers?
No, I don't think. I mean, if you look at the history of political polls, you don't get massive swings in a short space of time. I think people take it time to get to the point A, they are disillusioned with the current mob, and then the next phase is to look around as there's somebody else who they trust to do a better job. And we're in that phase now, I think, where people are actively looking around. As I say, we've still got work to do. There's a lot more people whose confidence we are yet to win. But these numbers, consistent with other polling that we've done, show that there is a change in direction.
Because the numbers here are still within that margin of error, so this could be nothing more than a blip.
Yeah, except that I think, as I say, it's consistent with other polling that we've seen, and it's also consistent with the feedback that I'm getting. The nature and the extent of the feedback I'm getting, this is anecdotal, of course, but it is different than it was a year ago. There is a mood change.
But the mood change isn't going quite as far as people transferring their allegiance from John Key as such, because you're still sitting in third place on preferred Prime Minister.
I'm not particularly concerned about that. I think people are concerned about an issue. They're concerned about the direction of the country, and I think they're looking around to see whether there are viable alternatives, and they're looking in our direction.
But aren't you concerned, just very briefly, that you can't even knock Winston Peters out of the way into number 2?
No, I'm not concerned about that at all. In the end, the choice is going to come down to parties that represent a change of government and those who don't. Winston Peters will do what he wants to do, but there's only one way to get a change of government, and that's to vote for us and our side.
Thank you very much for your time this morning, Andrew Little, the Labour Party leader in the Wellington studio.